Welcome back. It is a Money Monday, and we usually have on the Money guests on Money Monday. Nico, of course, has to keep using the same John DiDomenico clip where he makes fun of my hairline. But it is kind of funny. John's funny. I don't know if you noticed, but because of that, I've been trying to do my hair a little more to the side now to make the hairline look a little better. But if nothing else, Nico, you're inspiring me, and thank you for that. It's a rare occurrence, but what is even more rare is that Joe Biden can get more than 20 people in the room. And, we talked about it a little in the last segment, but as the mainstream media continues to bash Trump about how there wasn't enough people in the rally, and there was, by all accounts, between 6,000 and 10,000, somewhere in there, lots of people outside who couldn't get in because of the Gen Zers. But just look at this split screen. On one side, with the little white circles and the empty seats in a room for 20, that's Joe Biden's small business roundtable in Pennsylvania last week, okay? And that's Donald Trump in the middle of a pandemic with Antifa outside surrounding the building, giving people a hard time trying to get in. So you would imagine that, there was talk over the weekend that they said that the debates aren't mandatory. They may try to keep Joe Biden out of debates. And now it seems there is mounting evidence that the Democratic Party is petrified of the comparison between their convention and the Republican convention. And somebody who knows a little more about this than even me, the host of Politically Direct on Insider NJ, good friend of mine and regular Monday contributor, Fernando Uribe, joins me right now. Hey, Fernando, how are you?
John, good afternoon. Great to be back on.
It's always great to have you. And so it seems like these Democrats are really, turning their pants over the comparison. And even though yesterday may have been less than expected, it's still a contrast they can't put out there for people to eat. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, John, a couple of things. Tom Perez, the chair of the DNC, has gone on record as saying that there are still some logistics to be worked out for the DNC convention in Wisconsin, which we all know is a very crucial state to them. Come November, they lost Wisconsin in 2016. They can't afford to lose it again. But as we know that the convention was originally scheduled for mid-July, that's no longer the case. It'll be the second week of July, obviously being followed by the RNC. And again, the optics don't look good for Democrats. We know that Joe Biden is not an inspiring candidate. That's nothing new. But the idea of how the DNC wants to sort of navigate the parameters of the pandemic in Milwaukee, I think remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, Democrats have to be concerned about, A, who will be attending, and B, whether or not there'll be enough enthusiasm in Milwaukee to cheer Joe Biden on.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's enthusiasm anywhere for Joe Biden that I can really tell. It seems like it's a Geritol commercial at best, and that to me that contrast right there with the little room with the circles, and Trump was able to get 6, 7, 8,000 people in an arena. I think it just shows half the country is over this COVID stuff and they want to move forward. And half the country wants to hang on to it so that they can get their political will imposed by getting Joe Biden in office. And I think it's quite scary, Fernando, to me, because they may just keep Joe in hiding the whole time.
No, it really is scary. And I think it's, again, alarming for the Democratic Party as to why Joe Biden isn't riling up more enthusiasm, especially with the younger voters. This is a guy who, as you can tell, is not speaking well lately. Is a guy whose record is going to come back to haunt him. And if I can just add this, though, you can tell that the enthusiasm for the RNC is overwhelming. I mean, you'll be happy to know, John, that I'll be representing the state of New Jersey as an honorary delegate at the RNC in Jacksonville. So believe me, I'm looking forward to going down to Florida and representing New Jersey at the RNC. But there's just a lot of electricity within the party itself. And you saw it with people going to Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday, despite the Antifa and other protesters making it difficult for attendees to enter the premises. But as you can tell around the country, there's another rally coming up soon. The president has a lot of momentum. I know it wouldn't seem that way with the fake media, and especially with the liberal media, the way they try to, paint every single event of the president's as a failure or as that he's not getting the turnout. Listen, there's a silent majority in this country, John, that are quietly supporting the president. They're not going to answer the polls. They're going to answer at the polls. on November 3rd.
So, the president also, he's racking up numbers in all these places where there's a uncontested primary, basically, but people are still going out to show their support. I got to tell you, in Staten Island, New York, and New York City is quite blue, but in Staten Island, New York, in the Republican primary last time, we had 85% of Richmond County voted for Donald Trump. And I see that Trump is coming out with numbers in these uncontested primaries that dwarf even Obama's numbers.
Absolutely. They're dwarfing Obama's numbers, and they're even dwarfing George W. Bush as he entered re-election in 2004. So the president still has his base, and you saw it on Saturday. There was just a lot of enthusiasm for his message, and it wasn't just some sort of entertainment type of promo on Saturday. I mean, he talked policy. That's what the liberal media forgets to discuss during their telecast. He discussed policy. He discussed what an America under Joe Biden's leadership would look like. And it's not a very rosy picture. And this is why Democrats quietly behind the scenes are concerned.
Yeah, no, it seems like every time I see Tom Perez on TV, I feel like he's sweating. You know what I'm saying? He's like really cornered, and some of the leadership they have there, him, Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, I don't see a really powerful machine there, and I really think, Fernando, that they're going to try to come up with Michelle Obama as his running mate. That's how bad I think they see things going.
You know what? I don't disagree with you, but I've seen some other names that should also raise concerns. U.S. Senator Kamala Harris out of California, former gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams out of Georgia. And this is something that, people need to do their homework on, because Joe Biden right now is showing clear signs of deterioration. And I think that this election, more than anyone that I can recall in my lifetime, is very important, because this selection of a vice president is going to be the one basically taking over for Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is just going to continue to decline before our very eyes. And just imagine for a moment, John, how destructive of a country it would be with someone like Kamala Harris or Stacey Abrams, or even the mayor of Atlanta, who is now in the news cycle, even Michelle Obama, a woman who I get, fine. A lot of people loved her and revered her for 8 years, but this is a woman who no longer can practice law. This is a woman with sort of a very shady background. And I'm sorry, if this is the best Joe Biden can come up with, it's not going to propel people to go to the polls on November 3rd, John. I just don't understand why Democrats have to pander. Listen, pick the best candidate to be your VP. Don't pander because it has to be a woman or someone of color. I get it. Those are the identity politics, bread and butter of the Democratic Party.
No doubt about it. Yeah, it sure seems like everything they're fighting for, they're throwing out the window now by pigeonholing it. Well, it must be a woman. It must be a black woman. So I think it's the opposite of what they want. But thanks for joining us, as always, my friend. Keep pounding it with the Insider NJ, Insider Direct, and I hear you killing it out there. I see all your social medias are going up like crazy. So
Thank you,
we'll
John.
see you again next Monday.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.